is precisely 1:15. This is the news on Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. News is edited by Danushka Madhavela, read by Sabrina Zawahir. The headlines. President's attention on addressing issues of those engaged in gem and jewellery sector. Construction works of the Maha project of the North Central Province will be expedited. A project will be initiated to cultivate Kiri Samba variety of paddy in the upcoming Yalla season. Heat index advisory issued to several provinces and districts. Navy seizes a poaching trawler in Sri Lankan waters. And in world news, Israel kills 36 civilians in new Gaza massacre. And in sports, Aaron Donald, one of the NFL's greatest defensive players, has announced his retirement with immediate effect. Now the local news in detail. President Ranil Wickremesinghe unveiled plans to provide concessions to those who engaged in the gems and jewellery sector. This initiative comes in response to the challenges faced by the industry, with the President emphasizing the importance of addressing these issues to support those involved in the field. By offering solutions to the problems within the industry, relief will be extended to its stakeholders, ensuring their continued growth and prosperity. The President clarified that immediate changes to the tax policy are not feasible. However, efforts will be made to devise an effective system to enhance the gem and jewellery industry. The President directed officials to develop a viable system aimed at bolstering the gem and jewellery industry. He instructed them to collaborate with both the public and private sectors to draft a proposal addressing these issues within 2 weeks. President Ranil Wickremesinghe made this statement during a discussion held last afternoon at the Presidential Secretariats with stakeholders from the gems and jewellery industry. Extensive discussions were held regarding the challenges arising from the government's new tax policies, which have had repercussions on the gem and jewellery industry, along with other pertinent issues concerning the sector. President Ranil Wickremesinghe further emphasized the need to focus on boosting exports within the gem industry in Sri Lanka, along with enhancing value-added processes. Additionally, the President highlighted plans to initiate mining operations in the Sabaragamuwa province and Nuwara district in the future. Consequently, Sri Lankan gem businessmen will have ample opportunities to venture into mining activities in these regions. The construction works of the Maha project of the North Central Province will be expedited. Subject Minister Pavitra Waniarachi engaged in an inspection tour of the area yesterday. The construction work of the canal was commenced in the year 2021. This canal project was launched to bring the water from Murugahakanda Reservoir to Mahakandarava Reservoir. The length of the canal is 95 kilometers. This canal is also consisted with a 27-kilometer tunnelway. After the completion of the canal project, this will supply water to harvest 12,500 hectares of paddy fields. Direct benefits will be received for 175,000 families and 700,000 families will be received indirect benefits. This project is also to solve the drinking water problem in the northeastern province. The Ministry of Agriculture and Agrarian Development has initiated a project to cultivate Kiri Samba variety of paddy in the upcoming Yalla season. This decision was made at a meeting held at the Ministry of Agriculture yesterday under the patronage of Minister Mahinda Amravira. This project will be initiated by the Paddy Marketing Board, Agrarian Development Board and the Agro Trust Fund. The Minister has instructed officials to cultivate this variety even in areas where normally Kiri Samba does not cultivate. Accordingly, Kiri Samba will be cultivated in selected areas of Hambantota and Ratnapura districts. Kirisamba paddy cultivation, which was cultivated for the first time in Hambantota district in Matigathwela area, has been very successful. To grow Kirisamba paddy for the first time in 100 acres of Angunukala Palassa, Matigathwela area. At present, Samba and Nadu rice and paddy have exceeded the national requirement in our country, but there is a shortage of Kirisamba rice. The reason is that farmers are not motivated to grow Kirisamba rice in the 2022 season. Due to this, there was a huge shortage of Kirisamba in the country. The news is brought to you by Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Continuing local news, the Met Department has issued a heat index advisory for the northwestern, north central and eastern provinces and Colombo, Gampaha, Munaragala, Mannar, Mullaitivu, Vaunia and Hambantota districts today. According to the department, the heat index, which is the temperature felt on the human body, is expected to increase up to caution level in the above-mentioned areas. As per the advisory for caution level, fatigue is possible with prolonged exposure and activity, while continuing activity could result in heat cramps. The Sri Lanka Navy conducted a special operation to chase away Indian poaching trawlers from Sri Lankan waters yesterday. The operation led to seizure of one Indian trawler and apprehension of 15 Indian fishermen poaching in Sri Lankan waters off the Kovilan lighthouse in Karanagar. The Navy continues to conduct regular patrols and operations in Sri Lankan waters to curb illegal fishing practices of foreign fishing trawlers, taking into account the impact of those practices on the livelihood of local fishermen. As an extension of these operations, the Northern Naval Command deployed fast attack craft to chase away a cluster of Indian poaching trawlers, having spotted they were engaging in illegal fishing in Sri Lankan waters off the Kovilan lighthouse. The operation resulted in the seizure of one Indian poaching trawler and apprehension of 15 Indian fishing men continue to remain in Sri Lankan waters. Deputy Ambassador of the U.S. Embassy in Sri Lanka, Douglas Sonak, has said that measures have been taken to increase the export opportunities for the local products of the northeastern provinces. He also said that his expectation is to encourage small and medium entrepreneurs. The Deputy Ambassador of the U.S. Embassy in Sri Lanka also said that attention is being paid to the difficulties faced by the people due to the current increase in the cost of living. He mentioned this while addressing the media briefing held during his visit to Jaffna. That ends local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Sinhala Mahatmya.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe underscored the critical importance of fortifying the extensive trade and economic ties between Sri Lanka and India promptly to ensure mutual advantages for both nations. He expressed these views during his presence at a special commemoration ceremony organized by the Sri Lanka-India Society in Colombo on Thursday. This event was arranged to mark the 76th Independence Day of Sri Lanka and the 75th Republic Day of India, signifying the historical and diplomatic significance of the occasion. President Ranil Wickremesinghe and Professor Maitri Wickremesinghe were the chief guests at this event. Their attendance was complemented by the presence of Santosh Jha, the Indian High Commissioner to Sri Lanka, who graced the event as a special guest, underscoring the warm relations between the two neighbouring nations. This gathering of notable personalities served as a symbolic representation of the shared values and concerted endeavours dedicated to enhancing the bond between Sri Lanka and India, reflecting a spirit of collaboration and mutual respect. That was main news.
The main news story was brought to you by Sinhala Mahatmya.
Watch Live is brought to you by
CIB Navy offer valuable gifts and gift vouchers, 25% discount for bank cards till 10th of April. Visit CIB today. CIB revives once always.
Defence State Minister Pramita Bandarathinakone stated that the Disaster Management Centre is prepared to address any disaster situation that may arise due to the extreme dry weather. The minister mentioned this during the press conference held to raise awareness about the current drought situation. He noted that, according to forecasts from the Met Department, rain is expected in April. However, should there be any rainfall deficiency, the Disaster Management Centre has developed advanced plans to handle it. The State Minister also emphasized that officials from district secretariats, divisional secretariats and the Disaster Management Centre are continuously preparing to offer alternative facilities for any inconveniences or disaster that may affect people with the support of the armed forces. That came to you in Watchlight.
CIB Navy offer valuable gifts and gift vouchers, 25% discount for bank cards till 10th of April. Visit CIB today. CIB revives once always.
Coming up, World News.
Taking a look at the headlines of the world news, Israel kills 36 civilians in new Gaza massacre. A report says Trump ordered CIA operation against China. Plane carrying British Defence Minister subjected to GPS jamming. Now the world news in detail. Israel's war on besieged Palestinians of Gaza, now in its 162nd day, has killed at least 31,490 people and wounded 73,439 as Netanyahu approves plan to invade Rafah despite global outcry. Palestinian authorities in Gaza said in a statement that Israel warplanes have targeted a residential house in Nazareth camp in central Gaza, killing at least 36 Palestinian civilians, mostly children and pregnant women. Israeli armed targeted at least 12 houses belonging to civilians in the Gaza, it added. Former U.S. President Donald Trump authorized a secret CIA influence campaign aimed at smearing the Chinese government and turning public opinion against its leaders, Reuters reported on Thursday, citing ex-officials with knowledge of the operation. According to the report, the CIA formed a team of operatives in 2019 who used fake internet identities to spread negative narratives about President Xi Jinping government and leak disparaging intelligence to foreign news outlets. Among the narratives spread by the CIA on Chinese social media platforms were allegations that members of the ruling Communist Party were hiding money overseas. The Belt and the Road Initiative, China's global infrastructure development strategy, was also framed as corrupt and wasteful. The UK Ministry of Defence has publicly expressed concerns after a RAF plane with Defence Secretary Grant Shapps was subjected to GPS jamming while flying near the Russian exclave of Kaliningrad. While London did not explicitly assign blame for the incident, British media reports are claiming Moscow was behind it. Over the past few weeks, GPS connectivity issues have repeatedly been reported in the vicinity of Kaliningrad, including in Poland, as well as in the wider Baltic region, with the issues reaching southern Swedish and northeastern German regions. The incident was publicized by the ministry on Thursday, with a spokesman revealing the electronic interference had occurred while Shapps was travelling back to the UK from Poland on Wednesday. That ends World News. Prior to concluding, the headlines of the World News once again. Israel kills 36 civilians in new Gaza massacre. A report says Trump ordered CIA operation against China. Plane carrying British Defence Minister subjected to GPS jamming. That ends World News.
Development News.
SJBM Eran Vikramaratne said that the common responsibility of all members of parliament, regardless of party affiliation and whatever government is in power, should be to formulate laws that are not harmful to the environment. He said this at a press conference held recently to explain the role and objectives of the Environment Parliament of Sri Lanka. Speaking on this occasion, MP Anura Priyadarshana Yapa said that even though the country has to face various environmental issues due to the environmental problems in the world, we should join the global environmental debate and find solutions to those problems. He also said that the purpose of the Environmental Parliamentary Forum is to provide the necessary guidance for maximum government intervention in the formulation of government policies to prevent people and animals from suffering due to environmental problems and in making necessary decisions regarding government projects. That came to you in development news.
Moving on with sports news.
Aaron Donald, one of the NFL's greatest defensive players, has announced his retirement with immediate effect. The defensive tackle, who turns 33 in May, spent 10 seasons in the NFL, all with the Los Angeles Rams franchise. He helped them win the Super Bowl in 2022 and is one of the 3 men to be named the NFL's Defensive Player of the Year 3 times. Donald hinted he was contemplating retirement during the Super Bowl run in 2022 before returning with the Rams, but his announcement on Friday came as a surprise. NFL teams are currently in the free agency period and are beginning to shape their rosters for the 2024 season, which begins in September. That was sports news.
Go ekatiyana youth ekat life eke change ekat niyameta set wenna as wahagena dakapu hina habe karanna youth ekat niyameta set wenna friendship eka menna.
The all-new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Kavan Ratnayaka, a senior public and private sector figure, will head the country's leading state bank, the Bank of Ceylon, assuming duties as its chairman. He takes over from Ronald C. Pereira, who has served as chairman of the bank since January 2023. Ratnayaka has headed a wide cross-section of private and public sector entities in finance and banking, telecommunication, technology, tourism and media. He currently serves on the board of KBSL Private Limited and Agility Innovations Private Limited and is a trustee of the Jam Vijayaratna Trust and of the Dialogue Foundation. That was Business News.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekatiyana youth ekat life eke change ekat niyameta set wenna as wahagena dakapu hina habe karanna youth ekat niyameta set wenna friendship eka menna.
The all-new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Moving on to economic news, Hilton Colombo unveiled its refurbished rooms and suites designed to embrace the rich tapestry of Sri Lanka's heritage and area, a testament to the country's vibrant culture and renowned craftsmanship. The 192 refreshed rooms, including 80 fully renovated superior rooms, 96 deluxe rooms and 16 suites, feature a refined aesthetic and exude elevated comfort and a strong sense of place with modern touches, thoughtful design and expensive views of famous landmarks such as the Colombo Harbour and the Galle Face Green. That was economic news.
Weather report.
Finally, we take a look at the weather report. Showers or thundershowers may occur at a few places in western, Sabaragamuwa and central provinces and in Galle and Mathura districts in the evening or night. Mainly dry weather will prevail elsewhere over the island. Misty conditions can be expected at some places in Sabaragamuwa, central and Uva provinces and in Galle and Mathura districts during the morning. That was the weather report. Prior to concluding this bulletin of news, the headlines once again. President's attention on addressing issues of those engaged in gem and jewelry sector. Construction works of the Maha project of the North Central Province will be expedited. A project will be initiated to cultivate Kirisamba variety of paddy in the upcoming yellow season. Heat index advisory issued to several provinces and districts. Navy seizes a poaching trawler in Sri Lankan waters. With that, we conclude the news, and over to my friend and certainly yours, who's all geared up to keep you entertained with a wonderful collection of music indeed. Over to you, Asanka.